Now, it's been a little while since Indiana Jones 5 hit theaters. That's already, slowly but surely making its way to Disney Plus by this October. There's a lot of developments, however, happening with actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who portrayed Helena Shaw in Indy 5 that led to Lucasfilm losing, yes, hundreds of millions of dollars. And it wasn't just her fault, it was also Kathleen Kennedy, and let's not forget about Steven Spielberg, the executive producer. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on with Phoebe Waller-Bridge over in Hollywood. Now, we know that Phoebe Waller has said quite a number of crazy things about her view on pop culture and James Bond and Tomb Raider, etc., etc. And we already know that what we discussed prior, weeks ago, about how Disney fired her from several projects, from movies and shows, and how that kind of radiated throughout Hollywood. And this is exactly what leads to the main subject that we will be discussing today, and what's been happening behind closed doors over, of course, in Hollywood regarding Phoebe Waller-Bridge as an actress. Now, we already know that Phoebe is quite the insufferable actress who plays insufferable characters, much like Amber Heard, Brie Larson, and the latest Rachel Zegler. However, on top of the list, alright, we know that there's a lot of things happening with, of course, Brie Larson, with the Marvels. We already talked about that, but the latest has much to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridge and what's going on with everything Hollywood. Now, given that Bridge is known for her insufferable roles, such as Helena Shaw in Indy 5, one major update has to do with her status in Hollywood. As of late, one important development has to do with the blacklisting of Phoebe Waller-Bridge that is beginning to happen across the board in Hollywood. Much like what's been happening with Brie Larson lately, the same is happening to Phoebe. Production studios such as Columbia Pictures, Lionsgate, and Paramount have already banished Phoebe Waller from obtaining a role with them, and have blacklisted her essentially, where the failure of Indy 5 was so severe to the point that now, even Universal and United Artists Releasing is beginning to reconsider Phoebe's involvement with James Bond 26 and her contributions that she is about to make to the story and casting of the next Bond, as they also want to get rid of her now. Joining the list is also Sony Pictures, that want nothing to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. The main reasoning behind Bridge's blacklisting is that many of these studios have learned that Disney forced Waller-Bridge from many Disney projects, both of which were movies and TV shows that she was removed and fired from, that she was initially attached to and suddenly dropped from, after Indy 5's failure, costing Lucasfilm, mind you, hundreds of millions of dollars. And about that, guys, before I get to the next big part about Phoebe Waller, Lucasfilm is not looking too hot right now. And with everything that's going on with Ahsoka's mixed reviews, and it's only getting worse and worse, but we also know that there's a big concern among Lucasfilm employees because of budgeting restrictions. And this is applying to Lucasfilm. There's going to be a lot of firings on the horizon throughout 2024. They want to make Lucasfilm more of a, smaller scale company with less employees. And they want to make all the projects moving onwards small scale projects. Whether it's a movie or a show, it doesn't matter. In-universe wise, they want the story to be small scale, and out-universe wise, like the cast, the crew, the creators, they too want that to be small scale to reduce spending and to make less and spend less. That's basically Bob Iger's cost containment plan, to keep things afloat, to keep things balanced, right? So, at the end of the day, this whole banishment of Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Hollywood, this blacklisting, if you will, was inevitable. I mean, you can only take so much, right? Studios do realize who they want to and do not want to hire, and that's a lot, of course, based on what these actresses do and what they have done. This is exactly why, by the way, Amber Heard never really got big-time roles, as much as she could have if maybe she wasn't as insufferable as she is, but that's exactly why, especially now, after the whole Johnny Depp thing, she is not getting anything. So, Phoebe Waller, similar scenario, not quite as severe, but her leading to the failure of Indy 5 and costing Lucasfilm hundreds of millions, yes, that much, has woken up a lot of Hollywood studios to the point where they're like, yeah, okay, we're not dealing with her, let's not ever give her an acting gig, because we have seen what Kathleen Kennedy has done, we have seen what Phoebe Waller-Bridge has contributed to, and that's that. So, what's interesting further on top of this is that as more studios join the list progressively of excluding Phoebe from ever being allowed to obtain an acting gig due to her being nothing more than box office poison, Phoebe has reportedly learned about the ongoing development from major studios, which she is latching on to Amazon as the backbone of her career right now and what's left of it. She is still set to reinvent Tomb Raider as a series by embracing diversity and giving fans a brand new take on Lara Croft with Amazon. At this point, Waller-Bridge is likely to lose her connections with Bond 26, however, due to Universal and United Artists releasing, getting ready to also blacklist Phoebe Waller. Now again, the main reasoning why Phoebe Waller is so, I feel, criticized is she's just an actress, and she has the audacity to have some kind of power over these directors, these writers, or some kind of influence over them that just allows themselves to say, okay, we'll take your contributions and use it in the plot. That's what James Mangold did with Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Indy 5, as much of a big mistake as that was for him to do, and I do partially blame him for the failure of Indy 5 as well, even though Logan was a pretty decent / solid film. I didn't like parts of it. It was okay for me, but it was solid. But Mangold really just shot himself in the foot by allowing Phoebe to do what she wanted to do. Same exact thing applied, by the way, for Zegler with the up-and-coming Snow White 2024 live-action remake, about how Mark Webb, the director, allowed some things to transpire and happen in that story because of her. So, there's a lot of things that are happening right now where you're seeing this slow trend where the actors or the actresses, they have some kind of say over the director or the writer of the film or a show, and they allow those contributions to spill into the plot or the story. And that's exactly why Phoebe Waller-Bridge was directly responsible for Indy 5 leading Lucasfilm to losing hundreds of millions. So at the end of at another side of this angle too, we know that Lucasfilm, as a result of Indy 5, has been given this order by Disney to have these budgeting restrictions, or these limitations, if you will, and making everything small scale. That's the big problematic situation happening right now at Lucasfilm, is that people like creators out there that are associated with them, like Jon Favreau and Tony Gilroy, they really can't do what they really want to do with these shows anymore. And whoever joins the list, whoever comes to Lucasfilm, they're going to have the same exact issue. So, I would like to hear what your take is in this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding on one. From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No